Good morning, Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. Good morning. We are small and mighty and cozy. I am keeping my coat on today. With this first chant, I invite you to sing along. It's really easy. It's from this group called Beautiful Chorus. It goes like this. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. All together. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. One more time. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to see you all here. I'm Anthony Prado, your announcer, and I'd like to first of all, thank our talented musicians, Kev Choice on piano there, and Amy D, vocalist. Thank you, beautiful. Thank you for that inspiration this morning. Beautiful chant. And I also want to acknowledge and give love to our AV team, the technology people back there, and to our sound engineer, Jasper McSilver. Well, welcome to the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living, where we teach spiritual principles and practices that nourish us, uplift us, and celebrate our oneness with all life. A special welcome to those of you joining us for the first time. Anybody here for the first time? No? Okay, all the regulars. Okay. We're so glad you're here in the sanctuary with us. Please raise your hand, and someone will bring you a welcoming packet. Also, a big welcome to everyone who's joining us on YouTube and Facebook Live. Whenever you are, wherever you are, we appreciate your support. And make sure you sign up for our weekly newsletter so you can learn about all the fun things we have to offer here at Oakland Center. We respectfully acknowledge that here in the Bay Area, we gather on the traditional land of the indigenous Ohlone people. We honor with gratitude the land itself and the people who have stewarded these lands for countless generations. Now let's take a moment to bless our children wherever they are. We bless all the children of our community and the world. We love you, we see you, we know the truth of who you are. You are unique expressions of God, and we're grateful to have you in our lives. And so, yes, absolutely. Okay, everyone ready? We're going to say this all together. We usually raise our hands. You don't have to bless the children wherever they are. We bless all the children in our community and the world. We love you, we see you, we know the truth of who you are. You are unique expressions of God, and we are grateful to have you in our lives. And so it is. On Wednesday, March 19th, at our midweek oasis, join Maud Wilson, MA, for an encore conversation on the topic, I Got It, I Lost It. Meditation is at 6:30 p.m. and service at 7 by Zoom. The season for nonviolence continues. It started on January 30th. It's going to go through April 4th for 64 days, commemorating the anniversaries and the deaths of Mohandas Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. We honor Lent March 5th through April 17th. Choose something that distracts you from staying grounded and fast from it during this Lenten time. Fast and pray for greater groundness, focus, and serenity. We welcome back today Reverend Georgia Prescott as our guest speaker. And following the service, he's going to give a workshop. It's called Just Say No, Hell No, to Aging Gracefully. You were here before, right, to do a workshop. It was really good. We had a lot of people who showed up for that. Was this a year ago or so? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, because I attended. Come join us for a lively and fun discussion in the social hall. Same-day registration at the door, $25. Don't miss this exciting workshop that brought Dr. Georgia back for a repeat delivery. The next session of the 6-week Women's Spiritual Empowerment Group is being rescheduled from today to April 6th at 12:45, given today's workshop that we will have after the service. All are welcome to join this lively discussion. Join 10 voices, 10 women, 10 days of mindful practice. March 10th through 19th, text JOIN at this phone number 470-784-0250 at the www.newthoughtmindet.com. Okay, yeah, there's no S in there. Reverend Sunshine's message on Thursday, March 13th, was on belonging. We celebrate National Women's History Month in March, recognizing the contributions of women to events in history and contemporary society. Please join the Ministry of Prayer for Friday night prayer happy hour. That makes me happy anyway, prayer. Starting this Friday, March 21st from 7 to 8 on Zoom, except the fourth Friday of the month. Practitioners Maureen French and Megan Lemon extend this open invitation to anchor in prayer with your spiritual community. Please visit oakland.org/events and click on the images and use the password 123456. The 2025 annual meeting will be on Sunday, March 23rd, after the service at 1 p.m. Please bring a potluck dish to share after service. Kicking off our monthly fourth Sunday community potluck and Bring a Friend Sunday. We encourage in-person participation. Join us via live stream if you cannot come in person. All are encouraged to attend And then board member Deborah Jackson is leading the monthly community potluck and is assembling a committee for setup and cleanup. Contact Deborah at oaklandcsl.org for more information. The Diversity Circle meets on March 28th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. Go to oaklandcsl.org groups page for details on the topic and the Diversity Circle Zoom link. Just a few more. Our nonprofit partner for March, April is the New Bridge Foundation, a nonprofit non-medical addiction treatment facility with over 50 years of experience. Visit newbridgefoundation.org for more information. Agape Bay Area presents Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith doing a talk called Building Bridges. This is on April 5th, 10 a.m. to 1:30 at the First Congregational Church in Oakland. Visit agapebayarea.com for more details and to purchase tickets. OCSL is having their 80th anniversary gala celebration on September 20th, 2025. We celebrate our rich legacy and history. The Spirit Treasure Bookstore celebrates Women's History Month with 30% off all books by women authors. Please visit our website at oaklandcsl.org and sign up for our weekly newsletter, The Village News. Please like and subscribe to Oakland CSL Today and follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook for special updates and content. Visit csl.org to see what is happening within our Centers for Spiritual Living global organization. And lastly, we have now our vision and mission statement. If you're willing to stand and say that with all of us. The vision of Oakland Center for Spiritual Living is to joyfully reveal the love and oneness of God. We are a welcoming and inclusive spiritual community dedicated to individual transformation and collective growth. Our purpose is to love, inspire, and serve our community and the world through education, music, prayer, and play. Thank you very much. And now we'll have our pulpit assistant, Reverend Teresa.
Well, good morning, good morning. It's great to be here. Good to see your shiny faces. Hello, friends online. My name is Teresa, Reverend Teresa Gardner, pronouns they and she, and I'm just happy to be here this morning to read the readings and to do a treatment, pray us in. So here we go. So if you want to settle in, and I need to settle in too. The first reading by Eleanor Roosevelt. Here we go. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. And Simone Weil, French philosopher, mystic, and political activist. Attachment is the great fabricator of illusions. Reality can be obtained only by someone who is attached, who is detached. Let me do that one again. Attachment is the great fabricator of illusions. Reality can be obtained only by someone who is detached. Detached. So we take this to prayer, to our spiritual mind treatment, and we settle in. Just letting go and for this moment detaching from anything else except the beating of our hearts, except the love that fills us fully and wholly, the divine, the beloved. We are fully present this day, connected in the all that is. For truly, everywhere Spirit is, and love is. And I'm so grateful to know that it is also grace. It is ease. It makes everything out of itself. Everything lives and breathes and is within this one beingness of life. I recognize this. I recognize the beauty, the abundance, the love that is fully present as me and as each of us. Whether you hear my voice here on the recording, it is truly the life of all of us. All of us. And there is no one left out. So I, Teresa, bless the service. I speak my word on behalf of this service, knowing, Reverend Dr. Georgia is in the house, and she brings the message. She brings it divinely, in clarity, lifting us up, opening and allowing Spirit to fill every nook and cranny here. And today I also know that we are open and adapting to a new way of being as we listen in closely to her words today, knowing they are divinely guided. Yes, divine right timing is now. And I am so grateful for every hand, every heart that has already said yes to make this service a most magnificent outpouring of love. So I recognize this and I let go where God is and I am and we are. We are. So I let go. I say yes and say yes to Spirit and let it have its way with all the power that there is. And so it is. Ashe.
This is an original song of mine called The Other Side, because we will make it to the other side. Do, 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 the surface, hidden in corners, we let them slide. A shout or a whisper, explosions and fire, burning inside. What we know, what we think, holding so tight. Side, the other side, the other side, we'll make it to the other side, the other side, we'll make it to the other side. Look in the mirror, your eyes hold the answer, let go of your pride. Each feeling and color, no fault of another, placing blame, taking sides. How we grow, how we feel, forcing the smile. All we need is relief, we'll make it to the other side. The other side, the other side, we'll make it
what a great reminder that we're going to make it to the other side, isn't it? Yes? Oh, that's a favorite. And that's an original, did I hear you say? Miss Amy D. and our own maestro, Kev Choice. Grand Rising and happy Sunday to you. I'm Reverend Dr. Sunshine Michelle Coleman, the Spiritual Director of the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. I just love saying that, so I say the whole thing. I use she and they pronouns. I'm glad to be with you this morning. Just such a lovely time. Miss Grady, I get to introduce our guest speaker, and I have a couple of public service announcements first. And I'm going to take us through our daily reader. Is that all right with you? Okay, I'm warming you up. You know how you have a show and then you have the opening act? I'm the opening act, I'm warming you up, and I want you to cooperate. Okay. We had a lot of slides. Thank you to the AV team, because we had some snafus this morning and some folks that couldn't be here, and folks stepped in, so I just really appreciate them. We had a lot of slides that you saw them moving past that weren't in Anthony's notes, because I work hard to try to truncate and have as few announcements as possible, or the ones that are most relevant, but we have so much going on that it's kind of hard, you know? So I apologize for some of that. A correction I will note, the Women's Spiritual Empowerment Group will be meeting on March 30th, and then their last session is April 6th. They were due to meet today and graciously agreed that since we have our workshop with Dr. Georgia today, that they would. So it's not next on April 6th, it's March 30th and April 6th. You got it? Okay. We have a great treat. I have 2 treats for you. You ready for a treat? So next week, you heard from Anthony that we're having our annual meeting. Everyone's invited. We want you to come. There's a community potluck that we're starting every 4th Sunday, which happens to be next week, right? You got that part. And we have two groups, 2 tables that are going to set up while we're mingling before the annual meeting. Our Congolese sisters, remember they did that beautiful dance for us, Chingwell Mutombo and her sisters came and danced for us in a gratitude dance. Well, a couple of them are back, and they want to share with us some jewelry that they've made for sale so that they can take some money home back to the Congo. We want to support that, don't we? So they're going to have a table set up next week. While we're doing potluck, you can mingle and you can buy your wares. And here's the other treat. I'm so excited by this. That Miss Gloria Alexander, we know our angel on the other side, right? Miss Gloria, her daughter Reba, who's in the audience, called me and said, Reverend Sunshine, my mother had about 30 to 50 angels that I want to donate to, figurines, to the center. And so what we're going to do is have a table set up along with the Congolese sisters table so that we can, on a love offering basis, have Miss Gloria's angels, and we're going to dedicate those proceeds to Oakland Center for Spiritual Living as a part of our fundraiser, and Miss Reba has agreed to that. Isn't that lovely? Yay! So get one of Miss Gloria's angels. Please come with a few dollars next week so that you can enjoy their wares. Okay, our daily readers. We have 2 readers we're doing right now, 365 Science of Mind, and we're focusing on what? Gratitude, right? The whole year. So we're going to recite this together, not just recite it, declare it with some emphasis, some declaration and knowing, if you're willing. You ready? Okay, here we go. I affirm that God is over all, in all, and through all. There is nothing in my past that can limit me or limit my future. And our gratitude says, I am so grateful to know when to listen to my inner guidance and to let things go when it is right, resting in divine order and timing. Now let's breathe that in. We're going to do a community breath. Just let it go right where you are. Now breathe that in. Breathe it in together so that we can prepare ourselves to hear the word that Dr. Georgia is going to bring to us today. Our annual themes, as Reverend Teresa mentioned, I just want to emphasize them just a little bit. Rising higher and growing deeper. Here's my graphic. Right? We're rising higher, growing deeper. And this month, the flow of coming and going. The theme for the week, I got it, I lost it. And Dr. Georgia has her own title that says, Can God Save the United States? Don't you want to hear that? What has she got to say about that? We suspect the answer must be yes. Or do we need to be saved because we're already saved? But anyway, let me not project into that. Let me introduce a dear one, Reverend Dr. Georgia Prescott, who recently retired as founding senior minister from the Center for Spiritual Awareness in Sacramento. She was a founding member of the CSL Diversity Commission and was inducted into the Martin Luther King, was inducted into the Martin Luther King Board of Preachers at Morehouse College in Atlanta. She wrote the book, Victim to Victory, a spiritual, not religious look at the 12 steps. Now, she's also conducting the workshop after the service. I want you to come. She came all the way from Sacramento to deliver this workshop. So even if you were here before, come again. So you can hear what she has to say about just say no, hell no to aging gracefully. And it's $25 at the door. And if you only have a 20, that's okay. I want you to come anyway, will you? So let's give a warm, osseous welcome to Reverend Dr. Georgia Prescott.
Thank you. It is so great to be with you here today in Oakland, and happy Ramadan for those of you who are celebrating that sacred holiday. Happy Women's Month, History Month, for those of you who are women and those of you who love women, and for those of you who might be Irish, happy St. Patrick's Day, which is happening tomorrow. So it's just great to be here. You know, I always like to anchor my talks in some wisdom from our founder, Ernest Holmes, so that I don't get too far afield. You know, ministers, we can go way away sometimes. So to keep myself kind of anchored, I look for a piece of wisdom from our founder. And today's wisdom that I'm looking at is, God can only do for us what God can do through us. God can only do for us what God can do through us. And the reason that I've been kind of focused on that recently is I've come up with this question that irks me, and I try and push it out of my mind. But have you ever tried to push something out of your mind that Spirit wants you to address, and it's just going to keep coming back? So the question that I've been working with is, can God save America? And the answer, of course, is yes, of course. It's a resounding yes. But God can only do for America what God can do through Americans. And it's important that we begin to know that that is part of our spiritual responsibility as well. Today my talk is based in the Jewish scripture from the minor prophets, specifically in this case, the book of Micah, chapter 1, verse 8. You know, it's an important piece of scripture for us today because I think that this country is in disarray. No matter what your political feelings, no matter what your political leanings, I think everybody recognizes that we are in disarray. When we can't talk to our neighbors with comfort and joy because they might be on this side of the spectrum or that side of the spectrum, then we're in disarray. So I think And Israel, in the time of Micah, was also in a time of disarray and needed help just like we do to become prosperous, to become thriving, to become harmonious with all of its citizens. And so in the time of Micah, God looked down and saw that and said, you know what, you need some help. I'm going to send you 613 laws. That if you will follow these 613 laws, I'm sure you can lift yourself up out of this discord. Well, it didn't take long for God to figure out, 613 laws is a lot to learn, let alone to try and follow. And so he said, okay, look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 613 laws and I'm going to choose 3. I'm going to boil them down to 3. And if you can follow and learn these 3 laws, I believe you can also lift yourself up. And so in Micah chapter 1, verse 8, it says this. The three laws I want you to learn are act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. Act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. We are, I believe, at a tipping point in this country to bring ourselves closer to the ideals from which we have fallen short for over 400 years. And that ideal is that all people are created equal and should have equal opportunity. And the Word of God, through Scripture, can help us tip the scales of justice in that direction of authentic oneness that we believe so firmly here at CSL. In the direction that while we may not agree with one another on the methods of achieving health and prosperity in this nation, we can begin to listen to one another with respect and speak with humility. So let's take a closer look at these 3. Act justly. Now notice that I didn't say act justified. I often like to act justified in my loud opposition to this current administration. I recently wrote a sharp rebuke email to my congressman who voted to censure Al Green. And I felt totally justified in writing that email. I went on and on about how they should have all stood up and walked out and blah, blah, blah. What I realized later, unfortunately after I hit send, what I realized is that my tone and my words did nothing to help my congressman begin to have an attitude of inclusivity. I didn't invite him into the conversation. I simply invited him out of the conversation. I dealt, instead of dealing with all of us are trying the best we can, we're going to make mistakes. Instead of doing that, I got into good and bad. I'm good, he's bad. And the result of that was not the result that was my intention when I wrote the email. Well, God said in Micah, I want you to remember, as you act justly, that you are your brother and sister's keeper. I want you to remember that although you may be pursuing individual freedoms, and you may be struggling in some way, that our job, our spiritual job, is to support one another. Acting justly can be challenging. And sometimes it's challenging because we need to put somebody else's needs over our own. And you've all experienced that in your own lives, in your own families. Maybe your spouse wanted to get up and go for a bike ride on Saturday morning, and your spouse has been having a hard time at work, and while you think it's a good idea to get up and go for a bike ride, you're really happy in bed. You don't want to do that. But you get up because you are acting justly, and you want to support that person. The second one is love mercy. Scripture says, you know what? I want you to be kind. In Micah, God is saying all of humanity, whether they look like you, they love like you, they pray like you, they speak like you, they earn money like you earn. All of humanity is made up in the image and likeness of God. Or as we would say it here, God trying to express itself in our lives. Loving with mercy, being kind, is challenging. I don't feel very loving toward people who want to draw the circle of opportunity in America smaller instead of bigger, so that everyone has an opportunity. We understand that some of those people are living lives of hurt, and we know that hurting people hurt people. Our job, our spiritual calling, is to love those people even greater. Our spiritual calling is to be with them and understand that my success has nothing to do with anybody else's success, that we believe in an unlimited, loving God. And when we truly believe that we live in an unlimited, loving God, then transgender people are not a threat to us anymore. Because we can be as straight as we want to be. We can have whatever pronouns we want to have. And it makes no difference. Because we live in an unlimited, loving God. And finally, number 3, walking humbly with God. Now, don't let the words humble and loving get in the way of the word walk. If we are able to leave our ego at the door of injustice, leave our ego at the door marked fear of change, and walk consciously with consciousness in love and prosperity and freedom, and love and prosperity and freedom are simply God's street names. That's all that is. It's another word for God. If we can do that, we will embrace the browning of America that seems to have so many people frightened today. In this commandment, walk humbly with God, we learn that forward movement is possible. Change is possible. But it won't happen with us sitting on the couch and wringing our hands. Even in this regressive and fractured time, progress is at our fingertips. We have to walk before it. I believe that if we walk humbly with God, no matter how deeply embedded racism is in this country, change is possible. I believe that if we walk humbly with God, we can have a healing of those with lifestyle phobias. And you know, lifestyle phobias hurts people. I believe if we walk humbly with God, we can restore respect to Great Mother Earth and put an end to climate change. I believe that if we walk humbly with God, then all the women whose lives we celebrate this month can actually have equal pay for equal work. I believe that sex trafficking of women will stop if we can walk humbly with God. See, we serve a God that can't fail, a God that can change people's hearts and do anything and open doors where they were firmly shut before. With God, all things are possible. So what does it mean to walk humbly with God? I think we are so lucky to be in this philosophy of science of mind. Because in this philosophy of science of mind, we have what we call spiritual principles. And if we are willing to learn the spiritual principles and then work with those spiritual principles, I think change is absolutely possible. And that's what it means to walk humbly with God. I was so excited to see that slide that said, here's your homework for the week. If you want some Lenten homework for the week, here it is. And that's the beauty of this religion, is it takes the spiritual principles that God has given us and brings them into our lives every single day, if we will work them. Those spiritual principles of prosperity, of oneness, those spiritual principle of forgiveness. You know, I'm reminded of a story that I heard that really touched my heart. It was a story that came out of Mexico City. And in Mexico City, there was a father that had not been a good father. And he knew that. And he regretted it. And he wanted forgiveness from his son. But his son had been estranged from him for a long time. No contact. Every time the father would reach out with a phone call, wouldn't take it. With a note, wouldn't take it. With an email, wouldn't take it. Just totally cut him off. And so the father put in an ad in the newspaper that he knew his son worked at as a reporter. And it said, "Son, I know who you are, and you know who I am. I want your forgiveness. And so I'm going to be at the Villanueva Park at 5 o'clock on Saturday. I hope you will come." He got there. His son's name was Paco. He got there and he looked for Paco and looked for Paco, and he didn't find him. But there were 13 other young men who were there looking for their fathers. See, when we take the spiritual principles that are ours and we apply them to our own lives, they begin to heal those people we can't even see, that we can't even know about. We walk humbly because we know and we know that we don't know everything. And we are willing to walk as our founder asked us to do, open at the top. Let's be curious. To do that, we have to follow the wisdom of this month's CSL invitation. This month's CSL invitation is this: be still. Be still. Look at what's in your heart that might be standing in the way of loving all sentient beings, no matter what their views. What's standing in your way of your heart of being curious about the views of other people? I will tell you that I want to add curiosity as one of the basic spiritual principles that all of us are willing to commit to, because if we're curious, we will find out we don't really know what prompts people to say what they say to us sometimes. What fear or childhood trauma might be playing out in what seems to be the wrong view of somebody else? So, Reverend George, does that mean I have to meditate if I'm first be still? Is that what it means? I'm going to tell you that I don't want Home Office to know this, but I actually hate the word meditation. I hate that word because of this. I think it makes some people feel less than. I feel it makes some people feel wrong. If you can't sit in a little pillow all pretzeled up and, have the scents going and the bells and then you're not meditating. No, that's not what we are. I promise you, if you will find the most comfortable place in your house and give God 5 minutes, if that's all you have, 5 minutes of simply asking the question, where am I today? What's in my heart today that might be blocking me being a person who can walk humbly with God and walk justly? And to those of you who say, well, look, I'd like to meditate, but I just can't quiet my mind. I can't do it. I sit down and it's... I ask those people this: what happens when you sit down to watch a television program? You sit down to watch Law and Order or NCIS or something else. Are you running around the house doing things? No. It has your attention, your mind can quiet. Our job is to say, you know what, God, you're just as important as Shonda Rhimes, okay? You're just as important. And I'm going to listen to you. To walk with God and to change our failing nation requires us to do 3 things. It requires us to have a vision. It requires us to stay engaged. It requires us to challenge all of the isms that are in our own voice. We speak a lot on CSL pulpits of this idea of visioning, because we believe that to make it through the valleys of life, to weather the storms, to see the sun before it comes up, you need to have a vision. You need to see what God has laid out for us. When in the storm, we need to see the other side. It's that beautiful song that you created for us today. We need to see the other side before we're in it. We need to see ourselves when we're sick. We need to see ourselves well. We need to see ourselves going through, and we need to see ourselves coming out. In fact, I would go so far as to say this: I don't believe you can be a person of faith without a vision. I think it's why Paul said we walk by sight, we walk by faith and not by sight. Faith and sight are sometimes contradictory. Faith allows to see with your third eyes what your eyeballs cannot see. Faith allows you to grab a hold of tomorrow when we're stuck in today. And that is so important for some of us, at least in this political climate. We need to be able to see tomorrow while we're stuck in this day. It's the faith that Dr. King had that allowed him to see into the darkness, into his heart, and the darkness of racism and America, and declare, I have a dream. It was his faith that allowed him to stand on a pulpit in Memphis and say, I have been to the mountaintop and I see the promised land. We need to go to the mountaintop and see the promised land of America today. It was a vision born of his faith. When I ask the question, can God save America? I know the answer is yes, if people of faith will have a vision that is better than it is right now. We need a vision where racism is a historical blight on our country and not present-day reality, where our gender identification or our sexual orientation is not cause for anybody to hide or be fearful they're going to be put out of their house, fearful they're going to be put out of their job. We need a vision for America where chokeholds continue to be banned, where police departments are refunded and schools are funded, where seniors don't have to choose between food and medication, a land where hunger is stamped out and guns are not easily accessible, where health care is universal. We need to have a land where Black lives matter. Vision is critical in not giving in to the despair so many of us feel right now. If you have a vision, when you don't have a vision, you give in to the news reports. And I don't know about you, but I have had to totally curtail. I'm a political junkie, as you might have suspected already now by what I've said. But I have had to completely curtail how much news that I allow in because it is messing with my ability to walk humbly with God, to love mercy, to act justly. It's not an easy thing to do. If you don't have a vision, you give in to stereotypes. If you don't have a vision, you'll lock into what is instead of what will be. Now, I want to have a cautionary moment here, because this is not about, having a vision is not about sticking your head in the sand. It is not denying that measles exist. Not denying that children are still in cages under our watch in this country. Citizens, it is not denying that citizens in this country are becoming more estranged from one another. We work those things by sight, but we know by faith that we're seeing with our third eye the solution to these conditions. And when we know the solution to these conditions, and enough of us gather together in community, then manifestation will simply take place. We cannot see with our outer, Ernest Holmes said, without seeing with the inner. That's what the law of equivalence is all about. Seeing with the outer, governed by our inner. Yes, racism is real. America has failed for 400 years to bring truth to the statement that all are created equal. But there are some signs of change, and we need to look at those and celebrate those and make sure they don't slip away from us in the future. Some of those signs are changing, racism is changing, is that monuments to racism have been coming down. We're not going to let them go back up. We know now that no-knock warrants are banned in many cities in America. We know the Confederate flag has been taken down in the NASCAR community. That's a big thing. We need to celebrate that. We need to have that also in our consciousness. We need to, Ernest Holmes once said, stay away from the howlers. Now, I can be a howler in a heartbeat. And people need to stay away from me when I'm being a howler. We need to stay away from the howlers. We need to stop awfulizing and wringing our hands and begin to focus on those changes that we have made in this country. It's now a hate crime for a white person to call the police on a person of color and tell them they're being harassed. White mouths of all ages and income levels and education levels are shouting, Black Lives Matter. And for now, Black Lives Matter is still in the plaza of Washington, D.C. Times are changing. God can only do for America what God can do for Americans. And the spiritual community needs to be in the forefront of that effort because we have the tools. Ernest Holmes, all of the spiritual masters gave us the tools, and then Ernest Holmes brought them into our lives to make them understandable and workable. And we can do that. Let's take this message into prayer, knowing that there is only one presence by so many names: Allah, Elohim, Sacred Grandmother Tree, love, peace, Elohim. All of those beautiful names simply express that God is everywhere, all around us, in us, through us, around us. And so as I take this responsibility that God is expressing through me, I walk taller. I stand in more love. I give thanks for that. And I call upon Reverend Dr. Michelle, Sunshine Michelle.
Continuing in this consciousness, let us take a breath as we hunker down and know the truth and claim it together, knowing that we bless our world and everything in it. We bless our beautiful Holy Mother Gaia, giving thanks for your restoration and for your upliftment. Thank you for providing for us at every turn. And we bless our nonprofit partner this month, knowing that they are lived in love. Tell me the name of our nonprofit. The New Bridge Foundation, thank you. We bless the New Bridge Foundation, and we give thanks for all of their efforts. We bless our list that our ministry of prayer continues to pray on to lift the consciousness of all the prayers that have come forth. The same as we do with the prayer box that our emeritus practitioner, Dodi Cheney Fernandez, is holding. Every prayer goes up into the divine ethers, straight to God's heart and ears, and is responded to and made manifest by the holding of our faith. And so we know on behalf of these names, perfect health, perfect healing, perfect right action, wholeness, guidance, and all that is needed. We know this for Helene Cirillo, Barbara Tompkins, Mimi Dow, Billy S., Doe Mishim, Amanda, and Zachary Charles Bennett, proclaiming whatever it is that they specifically are needing or wanting or praying on behalf of. That right in the center of the request is the response, is the answer, is the resource, because God is the divine resource of harmony, clarity, love, abundance, perfect right action, divine timing, and divine orchestration in their lives right now. We name this and claim this for our country, the United States of America, knowing that there is ease and grace in regardless of what we see on the outside. We are focusing on our faith, and we are grabbing hold of the knowledge of alignment and a perfect orchestration, whatever it is that brings us together as beloved community, as we lock arms and hands with other countries. That we dispel any sense of the thing that may be called war, because we know that God's quality is peace. So we claim it right now. We claim fulfillment, that every child is fed, every houseless person is housed and provided for, whatever is needed. We believe in the instantaneous miracle working power of God, and that is what I name and claim right now in the power of this prayer. We bless those who have loved ones who have stepped to the other side, blessing our Reinhard Jolie in the passing of his mother, Maria, in Austria, holding Reinhard and Lauren and their family in our hearts with peace and comfort, as we do so for Kathy Hester as she releases Victor, and for Gene Hightower as he releases his mother, June, knowing that as ancestors on the other side, they have reclaimed their wholeness and oneness in God. And now, beloveds, this is the time for us to co-create this prayer, for you to speak out loud, if you are so willing, your own name, followed by any names that are on your prayer list that you want to include here today. And as these names are being uttered, let us just see them rising in fulfillment, see them rising in joyous expectancy of the good. See any fear dissipating and faith growing and overflowing, knowing that all things are truly working together for the best and the greatest and the highest good. So in our gratitude practice that we are focusing on this year, in supreme gratitude for all the blessings and the more, we give thanks together as community. And we simply release this word into the divine ethers, knowing that it is activated and it is made manifest in ways that are beyond our understanding, perhaps. But this is how the miracle working power of God works. Amen. To simply demonstrate in our lives that which we proclaim. We know the how, the what. Yes. We don't need to know the how, because God does. And so we can rest this word knowing it is done, and together we can proclaim, and so it is. Praise God.
May I say a word about the workshop? Yes, thank you. The workshop today is new. It's part B. You didn't need to be to part 1 to go to part 2 today, but it's changed a little bit. So I wanted to tell you that. I also want to tell you that if you haven't been to it, this is not about external racism, ageism. This is about internal ageism. A researcher at Yale University recently wrote that positive age beliefs can add 9 years to your life. Conversely, negative age beliefs can reduce your life by 8 years. So the workshop is really about exploring what kind of ageist beliefs we may have gotten ourselves bought into, quite by accident. But are there things out there that are being told to us, some of which we can say, talk to the hand, that is total BS. And other things that we say, well, that kind of feels right, but it's not right. So I hope you'll come. We're going to have some fun together, and we'll look at some different questions, a few different questions, than we did last time together. Thank you.
Let's give Reverend Dr. Georgia some love.
Thank you.
Thank you for your words of wisdom. It's an honor to be in your presence. You know, and I may get the name of it incorrect, but the Diversity Theater was established under your watch. Tell me the name of it. Authentic Voices, and our social justice group has talked about bringing them here, and the theater is wonderful with a lovely message. So thank you for all your work in the world, for so much. And now is our time for conscious and joyous giving. Yay! You know, we focus on giving because it is a divine quality. It is the practice of circulation. And let me just tell you this quick story before I bring you up to the baskets. You know, we have this big change drive for coins that is happening. And so when I was out in the foyer before service, I saw a container by the jar there, one of the big quart-sized tubs that you get soup in, that was filled with silver. And somebody was standing there, and I said, "Did you bring that?" And one of our beloveds said this. "This is from my son. He is a young adult who works in retail, and he knows the greatness of this church. And I told him about our coin drive, and he wanted to participate. He's 24 years old, and he wanted to participate. Now, did you hear me say it was a quart-sized jar of all silver? There were no pennies in there. It was full to the top. His name is Mays, and so I am amazed by Mays and his mother, Erin. So this is the law of circulation, because I told Erin to be sure and tell Mays that it's coming back to him. That's consciousness. For him to bring that in and put it in our jars. So this is how you get it back. This is how you get it back. We have lots of ways to give. In our seat pockets, there are envelopes if you want to mark your donation. We have pledge cards. We're in pledge season still all year long if you want to designate a pledge. And also, if you go to our website at oaklandcsl.org and hit the red donate button, you will come to a page that shows you all the ways that you can give. And also in the seat back pockets is the QR code that can take you to that donate page. You can mail in your offering here to the center by U.S. mail. You can give by Zelle, text to give. We're going to open up the baskets here shortly for you to come. Listen, it's not the amount that matters. It's your heart and your intention to get in the game of giving with God, because you can't outbeat God. That's what the song said. So Kevin is going to play some keys and Amy's going to sing. And let us first bless our offering, because that's what we like to do. So however you're doing your offering, put it by your heart. I don't have one of there's the bill. Hold that up, the bill. Yeah, there's those bills. If you do the auto give, this is your way to participate, right? So here we go. Let us do our affirmation. I freely give what I have, and divine source multiplies it in return. How many believe that? Anybody? Yay! That's right. Yay. Thank you for coming up to the baskets.
So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide if you show me all that I must do. I used to think God was the sun, God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth and the stars and all of creation. God is creation.
beloved Kev Choice. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. We got an original song today. How sweet. Well, let's give Reverend Dr. Georgia a great hand. That was a wonderful talk, just packed full of all kinds of wisdom and action to take and how to take it. Really, thank you so much. That workshop's going to be great. All righty. Well, appreciate everybody who's come to the service today, that is watching it online. What a great day, and I love how it's just filled in here. It's really beautiful. So thank you to, always to our AV. Good to see you up there, Bob. That's a nice place to be for you. Thank you, everybody. And if you're visiting for the first time and you snuck in when we didn't see you, you can get a welcome packet out front on the table there. So please stop by and pick one of those up. Find out about all the things that you can come to and be connected in spiritual community. Now, our practitioners, and most of you know this, we love to pray. It's our thing. And you can come back after service in the back room there and have what we call a 3-minute miracle. So you can do that if you're more comfortable in the sanctuary. Some practitioners will pray in the sanctuary with you. You can go online and receive a prayer online. There's a phone number you can call for prayer, and you can put your prayer in the box over there. Maybe you want to celebrate something, but prayers work. Spiritual mind treatment, it works. So I welcome that for everybody here. All right. Now, some of the practitioners that are in the house today, and there's even more on the wall in the foyer towards the social hall, we give other sessions, so longer sessions. So you get to say what's going on, and then we do treatment. And it's a really good service, and it really helps evolve our awareness. So I really encourage folks. This is a particularly interesting time, to say the least, and it really does help us to gain some awareness of the truth. All right, well, so happy to be here today. If you want to stand up for our closing affirmation, I welcome you, and you can say it out loud. We'll say it out loud together. Here we go. I allow myself to be fluid and nimble in God, making way for change and evolution. I keep my soft knees so I can billow in the wind instead of breaking or snapping. I am shaped in the greatness of the divine. Ooh, yeah, so it is. Have a great day. We got a little bit more music here.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me and Kev. This is another original. This is a brand new hymn just for you guys. I have faith in something beyond me. There's a wisdom calling my
beautiful. I forgot. It's the season for nonviolence, and we bring up families. And so I'm going to call forth right now Jade and Megan Ross. Are they in the house? There they are. There you are. Great.
Hi, I'm Jade. This is my mother, Megan. And today is day 46 of the season of nonviolence, which is compassion. So Mother Teresa says that find someone who thinks he is alone and let him know that he is not. Today, offer your support to someone who needs it. Remember, everyone you meet goes through difficult things in their life. We all need love and support. Be that compassionate person today, and when you need compassion, people will be here to support you. We must give compassion and love in order to receive it. So today is really about community and supporting anybody who may be going through a difficult time, whether they're expressing that to you or not. It's always welcome and positive to offer your support and love and kindness just in general, even if they're not going through something difficult. So for anyone that is going through a hard time, I would just like you to affirm that everything in the world is working for you, whether you know it or not, and so it is.
Well, thanks, everybody. It's been a great service. Please stick around for the great workshop coming up, and have a great day. Thank you.